Hi, my name is Tammy Moses, and I work on the issue of hoarding and how that impacts the people that are in those situations. And today I want to talk a little bit about boundaries and how important those are, as well as the fact that if you grow up in a hoarded or chaotic home, you may not have good boundaries. And the reason boundaries are important is because they help us to say yes or no. They help us to differentiate between what's acceptable and what isn't. And for example, you may be in a position where you don't have your own room, so you may have to sleep on a couch or a cot or in a den or someplace that's not typically a place you would sleep. And so you may have to adjust, to that kind of environment. I spent a couple years where I slept on a cot kind of in the back door area of our living room. And eventually I did move to my own room because I needed my own space. And that helped me establish some boundaries as far as nobody's stuff is going to come in my room. I'm going to keep my room clean. I'm going to have carpet on my floor. I'm going to have this standard of living in my space. And as a teenager, that was really helpful. If, however, you don't have that type of boundary or the option of having that space for yourself, it can be really challenging to figure out what is acceptable for you. And as a teenager, that can be a little more challenging, even because your parents might think you're being a smart ass, but what you're really doing is saying, hey, I need some space. And because all your crap is over here, I'm not getting what I need. So this is what I need. And that can be really hard to figure out and still kind of keep the peace, which, by the way, I thought was my role, was to keep the peace. And that's really not the case. But that was my thought at that time. So it really is important to establish boundaries. And if you're a kid who's escaped that and you're out in the world now, it boundaries matter still. And if you didn't get that message when you were growing up, you can be in relationships now that are bullying or harassing or abusive and not recognize that the reason you're in those relationships is because you're recreating what you already knew. And I experienced that as well. And once I was able to determine that I was not in a healthy relationship, that helped me get out of that. And it helped me to establish some good boundaries for myself. And it's important to know that no is a complete sentence, and you don't have to necessarily explain it. You can just say, no, I'm not going to do that. Um, you can just say, no, thanks for inviting me, or whatever it is. It's okay to not launch into an explanation as to why the word no is an acceptable response to that request. So that's my thoughts for today, is just remember that boundaries are good. They're like fences. They protect you. They keep what you want in and what you don't want out. This is Tammy with Real Talk About Hoarding. Have a great day.